All right, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at this wild Forex market, right? We take a look at these technicals and the fundamentals that are happening. Oh man, every single day, right? To see what we can take advantage of. So let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions for the next hour or so. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we do an awesome job of participating and engaging. This is an awesome group. We definitely don't have a problem with engagement. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, do me a huge favor, participate, engage, drop me a one in the chat, and we can get this session going. All right, we are good to go. Okay, so let me make sure that everybody has access. All right, all right. Okay, so let's dive in and take a look at everything that's going on. First, we'll start off at the Forex Factory for Wednesday, right? We were already saying, hey, it's going to be a pretty light day in regards to the FX calendar, but right? We know the UK, right? So all you got to do is go to front page trading economics. So the speculation was that, wow, they've got to do something. The pound is taking a big hit. And everybody was saying, oh, the Bank of England needs to come in and raise rates immediately before November. And the BOE said, nope, we're just going to go in and buy bonds, right? So you can see bond yields retreat after the Bank of England. Okay, so bond yields in the US and Europe, which we were just talking about, right? We were going to keep an eye on the 10-year bonds, right? The US 10-year, you got the gilt and things like that. We're going to keep an eye because typically you will see them start to turn over before you actually start to see price in regards to the currency. And that's exactly what happened. So bond yields in the US and Europe retreated after the Bank of England's announcement that it will carry out temporary purchases of long-dated UK government bonds in order to restore orderly market conditions, offered investors some support. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note fell 3.8%. And after briefly topping the 4% mark, the UK 10-year gilt, right, eased to 4%, and the German 10-year Bund moved back to below 2.2%. So, hey, we were just discussing the bond situation, and we got the correction as a result of the action taken by the Bank of England. So if we take a look at the US 10-year from the daily perspective, we can see that right up here, we had a high that just topped 4%, 4.01% almost, 4.02, and then we've got the correction back down to 3.74%. So that's what we were looking for. We needed something, right, to ease the pressure, not only on the pound, but the dollar needed to show some relief, right? It's weighing heavily on commodities and everything else, that strong hawkish dollar. So right now we've got the correction, and it caused a lot of the setups that we're looking at technically to react favorably to the directions we were looking to trade. So hold on one second, get everybody set up. All right, so that's that there. So overall, pretty light day in regards to the calendar. But tomorrow, the 29th, we move into, look, we've got GDP month over month for the CAD, all right, always important. And for New Zealand, we've got the Reserve Bank of New Zealand Governor Ward is speaking, always important when a central banker is speaking. But other than that, right, we've got some other numbers coming out, but nothing that we think will cause a major shock to the market. And then we've got Friday, we've got PCE coming out, PCE price index, but pretty light as we close out the month, right? As we move into October. So even though it's light, sometimes when you have companies and things like that at months in, quarters in, sometimes you have some repatriation going on where you got currency conversions that can move the market and create some volatility as they close out the books for the month or for a quarter. So we'd always want to be, well, let's just say we won't be surprised if we see a little volatility here as we work towards the end of September. So that's that on the calendar. If we go and we take a look, we see here U.S. futures ease after Wednesday's rally. Okay. So US 30-year mortgage rate hit 6.5%. All right. So mortgage rates going up. Right. That's why the Fed, right, monetary policy, setting the rates, right, plays a huge role when you talk about loans and things like that. So it affects our everyday life. UK car production up for the fourth straight month. That's positive news. And so oil rises for the second session. So we've got a little relief rally going on, but overall, right, fundamentally, there's still a lot of recessionary fears out there. So that doesn't change over the medium term. Okay. So that's that. Any questions fundamentally? Yeah. So it's good to see some relief and to see the market start to move a bit in the other direction. So I'm good with that. So let's dive into the charts. Take a look at the US dollar, and we can see that, right, we're still sitting up there on this daily, still hovering at that 118, 127 zone, stochastics in the sell zone. If we come to the 4, right, you just see where we got that correction. Okay, we saw the relief in the bond yields, and we saw the correction to follow with the US dollar. So hard to tell how far that wants to correct with the Fed being so hawkish, but we'll see. We'll see how much profit taking occurs. So that is that. So what I want to do, everybody, is take a look at some setups that could be coming our way as a result of today's price action with the movement by the Bank of England. So we're going to shoot straight through. So if everybody's ready, drop me a 2, and we can get blasting through these charts on the technical side. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's start out with the Aussie. Okay, we'll go through these Aussie pairs quickly, and we can see, hey, we got that push up, but still overall bearish. Okay, so it may dance around a little bit, but I'm still overall bearish, right? Lower lows, lower highs, right? We came into an area here where it stalled right after that bullish impulsive move, right? We saw some gains in the Aussie today, but I'm still looking bearish overall nonetheless. So I am going to look to stay short on the Aussie. There, right, is the 1 hour. Okay, right in that sell zone. Okay, so definitely breaks back below 88.46, looking for bearish continuation. But just from the daily, right, you see it dance around a little bit at this level, but I'm still looking bearish. That's just my thing with this Aussie right now. Okay, so it may run to the upside some more, but overall holding that long swing, I still favor it moving to the downside. So that's the Aussie CAD. Any questions? Nope. Easy enough. Okay, so let's move on and take a look at the Aussie Yen. Okay, now look at the move that we got. So we've been talking about this level here on the Aussie Yen, this 93.05 level. You see how it's trying to hold. Our stochastic has now moved back into buy zone. Now we don't have officially a swing low yet from the daily perspective. We need another day, okay, for that to hold and make this the center wick low. Okay, so our low point there was 92.11. So we need some things to happen. We need to give it some time. But as you move down through the lower time frames and you look at the earlier plays and how we get into these setups early, you had an 80-20 on the 4 to the downside, right into that 93.05 daily support. Okay, and you can see how we broke back above it. We broke back above it. Now we seem to be wanting to correct. So when I see this, we know, right, that oftentimes the market likes to fulfill that 382 at least. So there may be, for a counter move, there may be more upside to this swing. So if I move down to, I'm gonna jump down to the 15 because we can see it clear on some of these pairs. Okay. So there's the potential for a continuation, right? Here's a 15-minute 80-20 that's already rocking and rolling. Okay. So right? The way this looks, even on the 15, is your 382 target, your 61.8 target, your TP3 is your 8 boundary, okay? But what I want to see is, here's that TP1 from the higher time frame. So we also have the potential for what? A bullish crown. Okay. Here, we saw price take that out. Now we can get it to pull back in that zone, and then a continuation to the upside. Okay. So this one's moving down, right? So no matter what the time frame, you always have the opportunity for those 80-20 plays. Okay. But we also, if it's going to carry to that TP1, right, to the count on the counter move to the upside, this could possibly be a target here. Okay. This could possibly be a target for us to pay attention to, is to see what happens when price works its way back down to support at 93.05, right? So now we have a potential setup to the long side, 80-20 to the downside, okay? And then once we get into this area, do we want to break and get back long, right? You can throw you some extra confirmation on that and say, hey, if it resets 93.05 and it holds, gives me a swing low, and I get a trend line brace to cast it in the buy zone, I look to get long potentially, okay? So that's one setup, all right? So this is already moving to the downside on the correction. It's amazing how it does the same thing over and over again. I'll put the 5-minute chart on. Like so, right? So that's moving off the high. And I just want to see where we are in the wave sequence to the downside. Right? We've already got it the extension. Okay, so we'll see if we get a new one to set up, like so. And if we can potentially get a correction, okay, like that. So I'm drawing multiple plays up for you guys, okay? Something to study, all right? So if we get that pullback, then a continuation down, okay? So this is what you can do oftentimes if a trade is already off and running on you, right? So if we come here and on this 80-20 play, right? This is at 382, like that, went that down. This is that level here. So I'm just going to take that to my 5. Okay. And you can see, right, how that's tracking and moving. Right? So if you were to get a good deep ride up, right, to that level, then maybe something like this, right? This is a 5-minute. If it wants to continue down to that first target, if you get this deep pullback, like you're seeing this happening now, okay, then maybe you would play it something like this, okay? It's a good little lesson. Right? Then we're catching it while it's moving and making its wave, right? So then break like that, okay? And you put your stop above the A. That's how you can maneuver around through the time frames once a trade takes off, right? So it's correcting, pulling back, see how that plays out. If not, right, you think, you know what, I'm just gonna let it fall to the level that I want to see it test, and then I'll look to get long. So that's two different setups there using multiple time frames. All right. All right. Any questions on that? All right. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. And also, Reese, that EJ worked out, didn't it? Showed us some love. Showed us some love. So we'll take a look at that. But that's the Aussie Yen. And then if we go and we take a look at the Aussie dollar, right? Similar type scenario. That's why I love trading and taking a look at all the pairs, because you start to see the patterns and how they're reacting. So again, you have a potential crown. Okay, so we let it come down, right? Look to see if we can catch a swing. So you're looking at the same scenario. Now this one is getting pretty close. I don't have, do I have a 5 minute on this one here? Our 5 minute on. Let's see what price is doing. See how it's got that similar look and price action. There. Okay. So we'll see if that wants to correct and continue to make its way down to the target. But we've got inner trend line breaks on these. So if you're looking to get long, right, this will give you a good target zone, right? These levels to potentially look for the continuation. But for the counter move, that's your target 1, your target 2. We know that 8 boundary could potentially be your target 3. And you can see how price is just making its way, smaller waves down to that target. So that's getting close. So this one's moved quite a bit already, right? Off the high, came down 40 pips or so, and that's on the 5 minute. So we'll continue to see if it wants to correct and form the right tip of that crown. And then again, we'll draw a trend line to the downside, look for evidence that it wants to get bullish, past resistance, becoming future support. Support, resistance, potential support. So we will see if things line up for us there. Okay, but overall, it's amazing, right? How you can find so many setups understanding the wave sequence, because the dollar, the swing, the long-term swing is still bearish. But we know as price crashes through levels, it likes to potentially retest certain levels and forms new highs, right? So lower lows, lower high, right? Well, while it's making its way to that lower high, there's opportunities on a lower time frame if you like to play those setups. If not, just wait for your high price or whatnot, okay? But that's your 4 hour, see? So it's just a matter of it wants to pull back and then continue, right, to move back towards that 66 level. All right, and you can catch that early on your lower time frames if you like those particular setups. Any question on the Aussie dollar? Hang in there. You all will start to find the type of setups that you like and that you find comfortable, that you are comfortable with. So I want to take a look at this CAD yen. This was kind of rocking and rolling too. All right, so we're here. Our stochastic on the daily is in the buy zone. It's hanging around this daily support at 105.46 up against this 382, and we're definitely oversold. So I'm interested to see, because what I'm trying to see if we're going to catch a trend across the board on some of these yen crosses, and if it's going to start to make that move up, or if this is just a temporary correction. We know on the 4 that we've been in the middle, right? We've already double bottomed pretty much at its 50% retracement up against daily and weekly support. And it's just a matter of, is this trying to find support at this level here at 104.40 and then continue its move up? All right. Kind of not the easiest thing to tell with these yen crosses, but we'll see. So if you come to the 1, I mean the 15, well, you can see it's been ranging, but you can see it started to break above some of the mess. And we're technically, it just came into the 382, but I don't know if that's going to correct or if it's going to continue long. So I am watching it, because if we get it a deep correction, then I'll look for the opportunity on a shorter time frame to play it back to the upside. But we may not get it. We may not get it. We may hit a de-extension on that. So I just picked up on that one this evening. So I'm going to continue to watch that one closely on this CAD yen and these yen crosses. All right. Yeah, I can show my settings on the stochastic for sure. Let me put it on here. And there we go. Right. So we got that 14, 3, 8, and 5. Source close price. Make sure you get that smoothing on. Okay. D series 1. All right. Then we move up. And that's the last part. Good. You're welcome. Okay. Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you, man?
Oh, man, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Got some price action going in the market. That always makes me happy.
Yeah, man. Some monster moves happen.
Yeah. So if you don't catch those lopsided dominant moves from the beginning, it's hard to catch correction. So I'm glad to see it kind of leveling out a little bit. Get some opportunities to make some plays. Yep. So that's the CAD yen. I also wanted to take a look at the Swiss yen, right? Since we're on these crosses on these lower time frames. Look at that. Look how that it's respecting the zone daily, right? It's stochastic in the buy zone. Look at how, right, past resistance becoming future support, how it tested that level and it's pushing back up now. So this was going to be interesting, right? Because in your 4 hour, you're at a 382, right? But sometimes once that momentum is going, it can make its way to that D extension off of 382. Not sure yet. Okay. Not sure what's going to happen there. If we look, this is the 1 hour move. So this was beautiful to the downside. And we settled in at that 143.29. Okay. So this is gonna be this is gonna be interesting because that yen is a safe haven. Okay. We've got some we got a bear rally, right? Relief rally today. But overall, fundamentally, we're still in the same situation globally. Okay. So if that Swissy continues to play a strong safe haven, right, then we may see that correction. Okay. We may get that correction here. All right. Here. And then start to get back long since it found support here. Okay. So what I would want to see is when this turns over, is it going to hold at this outer trend line? Okay. Is it going to show evidence that it wants to get bullish? Okay. Doesn't want to get bullish. Okay. So that's the idea. Now, if it decides to continue to turn over, right, give us that Gartley type of move, that ABCD to the downside, then I'm going to know that because it's going to take this A out, right? So everybody sees this setup here on the bullish side, okay? But we know, okay, we got this one here too, right? Here. Okay. So I'm just waiting. So if I get this price to move down and we get this A taken out, then I'm thinking, okay, well, we're looking to get bearish back down to this level and a potential continuation, right, for a deeper retracement on that. So then I'll look to maybe if I get a pullback, right, in the swing, then maybe we can get, down to that D extension potentially. But right now, right, I want to see what happens when it tests this trend line. For one, it's not high enough in my zone yet anyway. to take a short, but I want to see how it reacts at this outer trend line here. Okay, and then I may play that long, and the reason why, because of the strong reaction that it got off this daily level at 143.29. Ryan, what are you thinking?
On this one, I'm looking to see if my bias on this one is short.
It's still short to the downside. Okay.
Yeah, my bias is still short to the downside. So what I'd love to see is shallow retracement and a push into that 118, 127 zone off that sub fib to the upside.
Oh, and put you in a high price. Okay.
Correct. Or if we do get a retracement now, I'm priced to stall at that D extension around that 786 level.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That'll put us right in that sweet spot. Because the way I'm looking at it is, if you go back to the 4 hour, and ultimately this could kind of put us in a range type scenario, but you had a support level right there at that 148.028, and that's the zone that it's retesting right now. So if that shallow retracement 118 to 127 or push the D extension, if it stays within that range, and I get a swing high, that'll give me my opportunity to get short. That's what I'm looking for.
I got
so
you.
If those
right
things line up and I get that swing high, yeah.
So these was always, they always get me thinking when you get that hard impulsive move, right? That sharp sell-off, that puts me kind of in that neutral state. Like, man, this can go either way. This can go either way in this environment. And it's like, how long would that intervention from Japan, that lingering effects, last on that? Because we know monetary policy wise, then they didn't raise rates.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed. So that's what got me thinking on this one. It'll be interesting. Yeah. So you got two scenarios there. Two scenarios. It definitely gave us that 80-20 down to target one, which was a good move. Right. Appreciate the market for giving us that. But now it's like, what's next?
And that high price too would kind of set up for a decent risk to reward. So if it does go against me, right, it won't be.
Oh no.
It won't be too much, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm waiting on that other push to see if it holds in that zone.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea too. It can go either way, right? So we'll use those confirmations and see what happens. It's a good one. It's a good discussion on that one. We'll see how that unfolds for sure. All righty. Any questions on that shift? That Swiss yen? No. All right. So that's a zoomed in view, right? That's that level you're talking about. All right. Yeah. Straight across there. Yeah, I definitely dig what you're saying there. So we'll see what kind of reaction.
At that 148, 851, right? You got another nice level of support there too, just a little higher. That other 4 hour support.
Yeah, we do. That impulse move took out a lot, didn't it?
It did, man. In a hurry.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yep. That's gonna be quite interesting on that Swiss yen. I want to take a look at this NZD-JPY setup again with those yens. So kind of right in that same scenario, right? Because we've got this swing, you had this 80-20 off the 4. Okay, you got 80-20 off the 4, and we've gotten back above this 82-12 level, which was a daily support, right? That could have acted as resistance, but it got back above it. So that one's got me thinking. It's got me thinking. So we'll see. We're right in this zone on the one. Anytime you see these strong impulsive moves that occur, right? I'm thinking lower time frame correction, right? Lower time frame correction. Is there an opportunity to get involved with that play? Right. Just want to make sure I have the right fit. Right. right? So again, we've seen this yen cross again. This is the 5 minute. Let me go up to the 15, right? Similar scenario, but you can see where we've gotten price, right, to snap trend lines. Okay, you can see that. See? So sometimes these are moves, right, that really work out, right? If you're looking for those nice, right, faster moving ABCD moves, you got an inner trend line break. We look for a correction and a pullback. Okay, correction and a pullback. This didn't quite take out that high, right? So we can look at this here. Okay, coming down. See, right, somewhere around that zone, and then back up and through. Okay, little head and shoulders action there. Okay. So we'll continue to monitor that one. That's running it with the smart fibs. Okay, but for pattern completion purposes, if you wanted to run it like so, run it like that. See if it comes down and retest the backside of that trend line, and see what you get. And see what you get. That's if it turns over now. Right. So just remember, right, little nugget there. Anytime you see those strong impulsive moves, right, we know that the market oftentimes would like to take back some of that. And then potentially we can get a correction and a continuation. That's the direction the market wants to go. So always get on high alert for those. Okay, of course, we know we can get that 80-20. This could bounce off the 236 and move up into an 80-20 scenario, right? But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But here we go, right? So maybe we get that push down and then that correction. So that one will be quite interesting to pay attention to. So mark that one down, because on the daily, right, we've already got a 61.8. It's been bouncing around a lot. Stochastics in the buy zone. And see, it's early in the game. We don't have a daily swing low yet. But when you understand, right, wave structure and the fib sequence, a lot of times you could be in those big major moves, get those early entries into these moves, because when price is ready to reverse, it'll reverse. It'll take out that A and it'll keep going long. Right. So we just have to monitor it and see if this is the opportunity right now. So while that daily swing low is trying to form, right, we've got this type of action going on the lower time frames. Okay. So short-term moves that can eventually become long-term moves. Any question on the NZD-JPY?
No, sir.
All right, awesome. NZD-USD. Okay, waiting on this one. It's amazing, right? How it's just like one day it's like everything is gangbusters. Then you notice things are starting to come into technical levels, and you're like, well, are we gonna get a correction? Broke 59.21. We push beyond that 118, 127 zone, but you got a 382. So hey, this is headed to the D extension, but are we gonna get a correction before that? So as you move down through the lower time frames, we came right down into a 118, 127 zone, right? 80-20. So now it's just a matter is we know that we got some profit taken off these bond yield corrections. So is this going to be a sustainable move? Well, you go down to the lower time frame, we got to push up, we got a potential crown, right? All over the charts when you get those impulse moves, okay? Those big moves. So we'll start from here and drop these trend lines like this, okay? And we can see how, right, price, okay, it's trying to break. So now it's like, hey, okay, got that potential crown formation, right here. Okay. We love trading crown reversals, right? It gives us some great target zones. Uh-oh. I'm off somewhere on this. There we go. So it's like, hey, we took this high out. Do we want to pull back and then continue? But it's putting you in the same scenarios over and over again. Okay. So, hey, enter the outer trend line. Is it time we got to that 118 zone there? Do we want to correct down? Question, do I want to play that? If not, do I want to see if price comes in and holds, gives me a low, and then continues to the long side? Okay, continues to the long side. We come in again on the 5 minute. Just takes practice. That's all. Come to the 5. Right. What am I looking like? Looks similar. And we see that, right? Look at that. Straight across. It's amazing how this works. Right. Boom. So this one here, look at this. Look at that right there in that rejection. That's rare. Right? Let's get those tweezers like that. It's crazy. Look at that. Boom. Straight down. So we're expecting D extension on that. So then it's just a matter of if price wants to pull back again before getting to those lower level targets. All right. So we can set that up like so. All right. Here. Okay. That's what that looks like on the 5. Doesn't matter. 5 minute, 1 minute. Okay. Smaller wave. Whatever you like to trade, right? Find a wave, catch a wave. Boom. No matter what. It's a 1 minute chart. There you go. Move to the downside. All right. Questions on the NZD dollar?
No, sir. Okay.
All right. All right. USD CAD. Let's take a look at it. Okay. We see, look where that's sitting. Okay, it's going to be quite interesting. It's all going to depend on where that dollar finds support. But from the 4 hour, right, we've got that correction. We're sitting right here at a 50 right now. Right at a 50. Look at your 1. Okay, right at the edge of that buy zone there. Okay, we know we saw crude recover. So, hey, let's test it and see if it's real on the 15. Is that real? Because if it's real, right, this trade is going to pull back. See if it wants to turn over. Come into our buy zone. If that buy zone holds, come on. We know this now. We got it. If it holds, maybe. It's ready to go. And if not, it's going to stop me out, push lower. And that's how I'll know if it was ready to get long or not. That's all you can do. Okay. Some people like to use a lot of indicators and stuff like that. That's cool. Right? But look, it's just a matter of is that dollar going to find support? Okay. Is it a temporary relief or if it's a longer term move? Right. Now, here's the thing. When you play around on these lower time frames, right, sometimes, right, it doesn't necessarily matter if it gives you an ABCD wave on your 15 like here, right? So say you get a drop to the 61.8, right, to the D extension there on this fib, That's 62 pips. Says, all right, I'm out. I'm cool. So if it wants to retest this level and then continue to collapse, right? So you can see this level. If it wants to retest that candlestick and then collapse, that's okay because I'm already out of the play. I'm already out of the play. Everybody follow me on that. Drop me a 3 in the chat. So this is how you find those faster moves on the lower time frames, right? So you can already be like it could hit this level, that D extension hit this level, and the bottom fall out. That's all right. I already hit my target, right? I've already got it. I'm done at that point. And then the market's going to do whatever it wants to do. That's cool. And so now my move, same process. Okay, that's the amazing thing about the sequence is it's the same process, just a lower time frame, a smaller wave, right? Because I get people inboxing me like, Penny, I don't have the tolerance for that longer term stuff. Well, you take the same approach, top down, just look for your moves on a smaller time frame, right? And you live with the results. Like so. 61.8, boom, 21, 64. Call it 20 and 60. Okay. That's how you find those. Huge impulse moves to the downside. At some point, price is going to find support and it wants to correct. When it corrects, usually corrects in the ABCD wave. If it doesn't hold, like we say, you get stopped out. That's why you have protection. All right. Any questions on the dollar CAD and where we are right now? No.
No, sir.
All righty. I want to take a look at this EJ, right? I want to look at the EJ. That one was dancing around a little bit, but it gave us a little bit of a correction, right? You see how from a daily time frame, how it's just still hovering around. So this could, like we drew it up before, it could pull back and then continue down and break through this 138.68, or it could just be a range, right? It can get range bound on us. Okay, this pair can do that, but we did, right? That 80-20, we got it to pull up, right? Now I don't know, did you get out? I got out. It got close enough to my target. I was like, you know what? I'm good the way this has been dancing around a little bit. So I got out of it, but it gave me, I was able to catch some piss off that EJ. Right. So we'll see what it wants to do, if it wants to get in that range or if it's going to turn over and finally break through. Yeah, I got out too. Right. Because I'm still conscious of this here. That big evening star, you know what I mean? And we know, Ryan, right, that price loves to go back and retest candlestick formation. So I was trading that one small and I was being extra cautious, but I was able to catch some pips off of that. So we'll see. This might retest 50% of that and then continue to drop. So I don't know. That's the EJ. Right, I had to watch that one closely. Not like I was playing it as a long swing or anything. This Euro Aussie. Okay, look at that. That's on the 1. See how that's trying to turn back over. Right. So it's just fighting in this range. Okay. I definitely think it's better plays out there, but you can see how it just continued to progress, but it's struggling at this 149.66 level. It's struggling there to find momentum. So what I'm gonna do, because it's range bound, is I'm gonna take this off like that. And I just want to look at it where it is. Okay. Where it is right now at this level. Because it's giving us now a 4-hour resistance level. Okay. But if I was playing this, I'm not gonna play this and leave it alone. But I would play this as a range play type on a lower time frame, as long as it's holding below this level, right? This 4 hour at 1500. if it was going to stay bullish, I needed to break out and retest it at this point. Like so. I need to see it to break and retest the zone for a continuation. If not, it's looking like it may move to the downside. Yeah, so I'm off of that one, but that's a tighter range play, right? And if we break below that level, then we look at a continuation. So that's how I would play that setup. Okay, if it stays below that zone here. Okay, we stay below that zone, we're probably going to hit it short. Okay. To the downside like that. That one's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So let's see. Any questions on that Euro Aussie? Yeah.
Hey, bro, if it dropped to the 1, it's got a potential crown pattern right there at the end.
Right here?
Yeah. So if
Nice catch.
If it pushes below, right? If it does give a push down, it could play that.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Dang, right? Because we came through. Good catch, Ryan. Right? It's giving us a good run to the upside, but I just noticed it's just like, man, it's struggling at this level. You know? I don't like how that caught. It's testing that inner trend line too. Bam, so something like that. And that's our 4-hour high here. One. Nice, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. Right. Bam. See if that turns over. All right. See how that works out on the Euro Aussie. Okay, see how that plays out. Euro CAD. Oh, any questions on that? Not bad. I'm just moving right along. Yeah. All right, then. Let's go to the Euro CAD. So got this still set up from yesterday. And we were talking about, hey, potentially if we get that break above the cloud, a 4-hour not quite there yet. It's just moving sideways. But on your 1, we're starting to get some clarity on it. We've got a bullish cloud coming into play. Lagging span is above the cloud, right? We got a crossover a while ago. It's moving flat. So we'll see. We'll see how that wants to go. But that's deep out of that zone. That was a deep correction. Look at your risk to reward on that, which is stop below the A if you took a shot on that. Right? It's beautiful. That's beautiful because you project what? If it stays bullish, you project a 118 extension. You project a 118 extension coming out of that zone. Okay. So look at something. I think that's that 382 from the higher time frame. And go here like so. Okay. So maybe that the extension got hit. We don't even have a new one yet. But hey, we're above the cloud. This is a high right here that is reacting to. So if we stay above the cloud, then there's a potential for us to get long, right? Like that. Okay. So let's see what happens. See what happens on that. See if we can get it depressed into the cloud. Maybe we hold right here, right? See how that's flat? And then see if we can get a reaction long. And then if we do, then we just keep getting long on the EuroCAD. Because here's that daily 382 here. Okay. Stochastic is slowly drifting back into the buy zone. Okay. Bit sideways, but it's worth paying attention to. Any questions on the EuroCAD?
No, sir.
All right.
I like this one still to the upside, so I'm looking to add to the position
to your position. Yeah, that's when you talk about it's like hey, I might as well take a shot. this is it.
Yeah, and I did off that pullback. So my original entry I took profit on off that new AB boundary there, and then waited on that pullback, and I my entry is at 30417.
130417.
Yeah. So off that pullback around 786 level. So, like you said, the risk to reward was amazing. So,
hey man, you got this. I'm retiring. You've been running these awesome entries all year, man. That's a great entry. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Congratulations on that entry. Anybody else long on that EuroCAD? No. Yes. All right. Good deal. Yeah, indeed.
It's one of those things, man, where it's and we talk about this quite a bit, but trusting your analysis, something I've really been focused on. I talk about it quite a bit, and just being willing to sit and allow the trade to do what it's going to do, right?
Yeah.
Managing the trade properly, but ultimately letting it move the way that it's going to move. And this is one that I've focused in on and trusted the analysis, and taking my profit where necessary and waiting on the pullbacks and adding to the trade again. So it's the power in these moves and the power in the waves is amazing, man.
Indeed. It's so cool to watch you, man. You just gotten better and better and better, man.
I appreciate it, bro.
You're welcome, man. In a short time frame too. I know the journey's been long, but this concept here, man, is like you just picked it up and just ran with it. So awesome work, man. Awesome work. Yeah. So I want to take a look at this Euro GBP because I'm still bullish to neutral on this one. Right. It's just that's some funny stuff here. It's just sitting there. Right. And it needs to give me a breakout to get long. That's the 4 hour. And you can see how it's just hovering. So it's just a matter of like, man, so with these crazy moves, doesn't want to go
again.
What'd you say?
So it found itself again.
Yeah. It's you can say that again, right? Like this is just crazy, insane move. And so now it's just a matter of thinking like, all right, yes, we got the shock from the UK and everything and the Banyas, but overall, right? Does it just want to go retest these highs eventually? That's the question. So I'm bullish. The neutral is sitting right in the zone. And so I would definitely prefer for it to break to the upside and keep right on running. Still bullish as well, Mary? Indeed. Indeed. You got your management in place. So just hang in there, see which way we break out. So that's the Euro GBP and the Euro USD. This one here, we'll take a look at it. All right. So we've got a 382 up against resistance, pushing down. So still overall bearish, right? How can we not be? But there comes a time where price wants to correct. And you can see it doing so now. So with all of these, right? Again, when you get these impulsive moves, this is when you can come down to these lower time frames. Look how high that pushed up in the zone here. Okay. Look how high that pushed up in the zone. So it's just a matter of, is this the time that it wants to continue and go bearish, or is it going to make a stronger move to the upside? Right? Look at that. So that's the question, always the question of a strong impulsive move like this. Is it time? Is it going to take all of it back? And that's the question with the dollar and the strength. Or is it going to continue to come back to us? Correct? And then continue long. That's the question on this. Okay. I'm looking at it from before. So I still would like to see it, right? Make one more run to the upside. Make one more run to the upside. Even if I could just get it, right? If we're looking at this counter trend move, a continuation long, even if you get it to push there, right? That's a 130 pip move on your 15. If it settles down in the area and decides to push bullish. All right, so we'll continue to watch the bond yields and to see if we're going to get some more relief on the dollar, but it could happen, right? If not, it's just going to continue to get short. It's just going to continue to get short. It's not in my zone anyway, right? So that saves me the headache of trying to make that decision. It's not in my zone anyway. I needed to push higher off this 4-hour chart. Okay, needed to push higher off that 4-hour chart. So I would love to see this pull back and then continue to push higher. And then when it gets in that zone, I'll be looking to get short again, but after I've made some money on the upside move for the correction. Any questions on the euro dollar? If you're a bear, you don't like playing these moves, then hey, stay short and ride it out, because that's ultimately where it's going. All right. So I'm looking at it right now is that we're in a down retracement zone. And based on the chart that I like to trade this 4-hour, I would like to see it push higher. Questions?
Oh, sir.
Right. Anything that you're looking at, you got your eyes on, man, before we wrap this up tonight? Went over, played a lot of setups, so I seen them setting up, so I wanted to make sure we got through them for everybody.
Yeah, no, I have a couple positions in on that Aussie Yen to the downside on the short-term retracement, but ultimately I'm looking at these retracements that you went over, waiting for some high prices primarily on the dollar pairs, and I'm watching the yens closely to see if once they get to their high price on the 4, do we get another push to the downside? So I'm just waiting to see how those develop. But I took some of my profit on the euro yen long. But I still have a small position in that. I'm looking forward to get to that 382, potentially a little bit deeper.
Gotcha.
But other than that, I took profit on all of my positions that I had in previously. So I just have a couple in now.
Yeah.
So I'm still short on the Aussie CAD though. I'm still holding that one for the long term. And I'm long on that Euro CAD. But other than that, I got, like I said, a couple of those intermediate positions on some of these short-term retracements. So you covered everything though, man. You covered everything. So I'm just awesome. And being patient now.
Yeah, right. Great run. Right, month in. You can sit back and relax a little bit and pick and choose your spots going into to October. I want to take a look at this crude because it's correcting. So let's see, we're in that zone, right? Isn't it funny? Oil rises for the second session. Bam.
Convenient,
right? Right there. Okay, so bearish oil, but hey, we'll see it. How much do we want to correct? Look at that. Okay. People are on that level. You better believe it. At 81.95, we break above that. You might see some buy momentum. So we'll see. But you could play these the same exact way, right? That's if there's anything tonight, that's the lesson, right? How to drop down to the lower time frames after you get these impulsive moves in the market, right? And get involved, right? So if we look at this on the 15, it's no different. It's no different. That's clear, right? That we smashed through some levels. Okay. So we'll set this one up. We'll close it out. Okay. We got through some levels pretty good. That's going to be too narrow. So I'll just run it off of this that link there. Okay. So, all right. And if we come here, that's a good structure, right? That's good structure right there. All right. So we'll continue to watch it. This is my bow. Like that. All right. That's tonight's session, everybody. A lot of things out there to work with for you to keep your eye on and study. And tomorrow, right, we'll be back over and over and over again, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session with my man, Mr. Ryan Carthage. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.